It is Friday, October 23rd, 2020. I'm Pastor Thor Ramsey with Center Church. This is Gospel for Five, where we take 5 minutes out of our day and focus on the gospel and the one who saved our souls, because Jesus Christ is the gospel. So this last week, as we've been going through the book of Galatians, we basically summarized the second half of chapter 1, verses 11 through 24. We're actually in verse 24 today. So verse 23 said that this is 3 years after the conversion of Saul of Tarsus, who then became the Apostle Paul, whom Jesus Christ himself called and appeared to and commissioned to be an apostle to the church, specifically the Gentiles, the non-Jewish part of civilization. But the church, they were hearing it said that he who used to persecute us is now preaching the faith he once tried to destroy, and they glorified God because of me. Now, well, we can wrap a lot in there, but there you have it. In every Christian's life, we hope that people will say that about us at some point. We're all still sinners. We're all still flawed. We're all still imperfectly sanctified as we're being sanctified. We're not, perfectly sanctified. We're not fully sanctified. Sanctification itself is a word that means progressively becoming like Christ, but that is not a straight, chart line, so to speak. It is fraught with valleys and peaks and backslidings and progression and etc. But at some point in our lives, we want people to say, we want to be able to say, and they glorified God because of me. That God's person, that his character, that Jesus Christ himself was glorified, that God used me and glorified himself. And again, that is the great privilege of being used in God's sovereign purposes. God has sovereign purposes, meaning he rules over all purposes on this earth. And as Christians, we have the great opportunity to be used by him, to participate with him in having him accomplish his goals through us, which is what he does through our prayers. The prayers are the means that he accomplishes the end of his sovereign purposes. Our actions, our obedience, our interactions with people on a daily basis, everything about our lives. At some point, people can say this about any aspect of our lives, and they glorified God because of me. At your work, at your workplace, when people know you're a Christian, the way you do your work, the way you treat people, they can say this there, and they glorified God. This can be in the arts, how you contribute to the arts, what you do in terms of where maybe you're, whatever it happens to be. If you go into film or whatever, if you're screenwriting or writing novels, you can do that in a way that eventually, because of the final product, people say, and they glorified God because of me. But here's the thing, every person on the face of the earth, God is sovereign over all. So he's using every person in some way, and even in his common grace, he can even use a person who does not even know he exists or may deny his existence in a way that touches other people's lives, and they say, there must be a God. But this is the final goal. This is the ultimate goal in our lives, that people would see some aspect of our lives, some aspect of what we've done overall, some aspect of a moment of our lives, some point in time during our lives, we want people to say they looked to God and glorified him because of us, that God used us in a way that he was glorified. John Piper puts it this way: They made much of God. And that's what we want people to say about us. He or she made much of God. Now, what has God said to you today?